Welcome back to another session of Three Ball Walk. Bob, Eddie, and Julio here.
That's Julio.
Having a good time just talking a lot of baseball. We actually had a special guest scheduled for today.
That's true.
And Kyle Niblett is former sports information director for baseball at Mississippi State University and just recently took a job as the director of publicity for the Florida High School State Athletic Association, and he was going to be with us and got an email. He is down in Fort Myers, and I don't know if that's at JetBlue.
That's at JetBlue Park. Yeah, that's where the state championship.
That's where it's at.
Final Four.
He is down in Fort Myers for the state high school championship. So we were going to talk a little college baseball and high school baseball, but next week we'll do that and we'll put that off. And we'll actually have the state playoffs, and he can tell us about any prospects he saw and
who won,
the best playing,
and who won,
different things like that. So
I know Ocala Forest got beat pretty bad yesterday.
Did they?
Yeah, they beat 14-2. So
ouch.
I saw that last night on the news. Not a good way to end your season in the Final Four, but it happens sometimes.
So he, and where that puts us is where we are a lot of times, where we had a guest, we had a topic, we were going to fill up 2 sessions, and now really nothing. I mean, this week, interesting week in baseball. A lot of stories. Eddie, what jumps out at you?
All right, let's take the first one, the obvious one, since we got the Murphy 80s hat on, the firing of Gonzalez. As a Braves fan, are you happy or are you upset?
I'm happy. I didn't think they should have hired him to begin with. I thought I know he's a Bobby Cox guy and all that, but I didn't think that he was the hire. He had a couple of good years. I feel bad for him in the aspect of the fact that basically he had nothing to work with this year. And I don't care if you're Jim Leland or if you're Joe Madden or Casey Stengel. If you don't have players, you can't win. And I think that's unfair, but I'm not upset. I'm interested.
Well, and you asked me yesterday about why doesn't the GM go?
I'm about that 100%, and you had a good comment, which was?
I just said I think the GM was doing what he was told to do by management.
Yes.
Scale them down and build for the future. And I think what happened is they expected to be bad. They just didn't expect to be this bad. And you still want to be respectable and maybe win 40 or 50 games, and they're on pace to win 35. And I think
wow, 5 whole games. I mean, 5 games under. Wow. I'm going to lose 3 quarters.
Yeah, I really do. I think if they were 14-20 instead of 9-28.
10. They won last night.
Yeah, they won last night.
They did not blow a 9th inning lead last night. They actually held on to win.
But if you look at it like as a general manager, I mean, I'm a Lakers fan, and now this isn't baseball, but Mitch Kupchak's had his job. He's a complete fraud. I mean, and now, are you telling me the Lakers are telling that, oh, we don't want to win right now? As a fan, that bothers me.
Well,
and as a Braves fan, it really bothers me because...
Well, the NBA, I think in the NBA, there are lots of people who say that all the time, that you have to be really bad to get really good.
Right.
If you're mediocre, you will always stay mediocre.
But I don't understand that same kind of philosophy in baseball. I've heard that on some of the national shows I was listening to the last couple of days, talking about that stockpiling draft picks and reinventing the farm system. Well, listen, if you hadn't been good for the last 10 years with your farm system, stockpiling more bad players is only going to make you worse.
Well, ultimately, when you do something like that, who are you stockpiling? I mean, look at the Philadelphia 76ers, for example. They got the kid here from Gainesville who went to Kansas. What's the
Spates?
No.
But he's playing in the league.
He is playing. No, he's playing. No, I'm saying he went to school here at the Rock and then wound up going to University of Kansas. The big guy.
Yeah, I don't
from Africa.
Yeah.
No,
I don't know what his name is.
I know you're talking about.
They took him number 1, number 2, and they've had all these number 1, 2, or 3 picks for 5, 6 years, and they're still terrible. So ultimately, it depends on who.
Bad scouting leads to bad teams.
Now you wind up dismantling the 1997 Marlins, and you wind up picking up a Derek Lee from San Diego for Kevin Brown, and you wind up getting a Mike Lowell from the Yankees, and in part of this trade, and you wind up getting, and you build up, and then basically all of a sudden you wind up winning the World Series 5 years later in 2003 because you did get the right guy. So I think, just saying,
you need more picks. You need the right guy.
The right guy.
You need the right guys,
so
and a lot of times, the picks became Josh Beckett.
Right, but
I don't need
4 picks to get Beckett. if I'm smart with my scouting, I got one pick. I
and
get
a number
Beckett.
one pitcher.
Right.
I get Beckett. So I mean, that's what I'm saying. I don't think that's necessarily the case.
Pitchers,
I think they got bad because they wanted people to say it's time for something new, and time for something new also includes a new ballpark and a new manager and a new branding of Braves baseball for 2017. Now we'll see if they can come through with that. I mean, they essentially got a minor league team. They got a minor league manager now, so they should play well.
And every team goes through cycles. I mean, the Yankees aren't great all the time. I mean, the Dodgers aren't great all the time. But at least, well, this year the Yankees, I don't know, but at least you feel they're competitive. My problem is,
I'll tell you what, you get into the seventh inning of a game with a lead, they're shutting it down.
Right, but it let me feel like at least, I think you can't please all the fans. Because if we have a competitive team, well, you get to a point where you're just being competitive, then what do you want? You want to win. You want to win. Okay, now we win the division. Oh, we win the division a couple of years. What do you want? Then we want to win a championship. You can't please everybody. But for me, just a semblance of we're trying. And when you keep telling me we're getting draft picks, we're getting all these picks, okay, how many Ben McDonald's are out there who don't pan out? Brian Taylor.
And that's the thing when and you said, oh, just make the right pick and get Josh Beckett. There were 5 or 6 of those, and 2 of them, AJ Burnett and Josh Beckett, panned out. The other 3 didn't, and you don't know. The thing that and here we go again. The thing that Dave Dombrowski did in 1998 was he unloaded for number 1 pitchers, and he got like 6 number 1 pitchers. And then all of a sudden, your odds are pretty good that 1 or 2 of them are going to work out. And that's exactly.
So I think it was a good move by Atlanta. I'm not sure that it's fair to Gonzalez, but he hasn't really done anything. Didn't do anything when he had all the talent. Then when they dismantled the talent, then you got to know it's coming. It's kind of unfair that he found out about it by getting an alert on his phone that there was a one-way ticket from Pittsburgh to Atlanta booked in his name. That's pretty raw, but hey, it happens. All right,
and then that was your topic, and then your topic I see number 1 on your list, Brawl.
That was it. That was it. The brawl that happened and the aftermath that happened of it.
And a few weeks ago we talked about those unwritten rules of baseball and different things.
Yeah, my buddy Joe Gervin down in Palm Beach area on the TV had a whole thing on the commentary about getting rid of the unwritten rules. Come on, Joe. I mean, the unwritten rules are there for a reason. Mm-hmm. They're there to govern the game, and they're there for the players to govern themselves and to have.
Can you celebrate a home run in baseball?
You can celebrate a home run in baseball. I don't think you can stand. We went over that. I don't think you can stand there and flip the bat. And somebody posted one today from a high school kid that hit a walk-off single and threw the bat all the way to the dugout. Okay, and everybody's celebrating that. Okay, now that's where you go with that. That's where you go with the Bautista flip. You get a high school kid who hits a single to win a game, throws the bat all the way to the dugout, which technically the umpire should have called him out for throwing the bat because the winning run had not crossed the plate yet. He had not crossed first base yet, so he should have thrown him out. He should have called him out of the game.
Well, no, after the play, you throw him out for that. You let the play continue. You can't eject someone mid-play.
It's a dangerous play. You interfere with a third baseman.
Yeah,
trying to come in and make a cutoff.
You're reaching it.
I am reaching it, but this is just what I'm saying is that's where it escalates to.
You make a 3-point shot, you point up like that, you look at the crowd, you make a 3-point shot right over you, and I turn away before the shot goes in. You sack someone and you go into a dance or you intercept someone.
I understand.
And then you're saying you hit a home run and you can't flip the bat up in the air?
You can celebrate with your teammates when you get back. You can celebrate with your coaches when you go around.
And
if it's a walk-off,
have you seen someone score a goal in hockey or in soccer? In the middle of, they don't sit there and wait. Hey, we will celebrate this goal between periods when we're in the locker room by ourselves.
But all the players come out. All the players come out to them. It's not about I'm flipping the bat and that. Whatever you want to say, that was I'm.
I think it's very. I'll tell you. I've felt that way, and I'm getting to the point. It's very generational.
And, sure it is.
And right now, okay, that generation.
That doesn't make it right just because it's generational.
Since Babe Ruth, people have celebrated home runs. I mean, Ruth used to watch his shots. Harmon Killebrew. Reggie said he got his home run celebration thing from Harmon Killebrew.
No problem.
And so exactly, but my part is sticking their nose in it. I mean, if football, defensive football is the worst. So you see a guy make a tackle on a running play, and you don't see your accountant go, "I just hate them making your taxes." I mean, it's like you don't see a guy freak out.
Well, yeah.
You do your job. But act like you've been there.
But at the same time, I mean, I think the guy had a guy writing today in the Alligator, a young kid, who had a good point. You don't get to punch somebody if your accountant doesn't save you money. You don't get to walk in and punch your accountant in the face.
He drilled him a good one, man. He popped him right.
That was one of the best punches.
I watched boxing a lot, and that was the best.
Did Batista get suspended because he didn't stay down?
No,
because he got back up.
Suspended.
Well, Beltray came over and pulled him away from that.
He got suspended for the slide.
What? Are you serious?
For a takeout slide.
That's ridiculous.
Yeah, that caused the brawl. And then when he got up and went back at him, I mean, did he instigate it?
In baseball, this is your fights in baseball. Oh
yeah,
okay. The minute this comes in,
yeah,
it's a different story.
The weird thing is that one of the Rangers grabbed Bautista.
Oh, Beltray. Adrian Beltray had him the entire time.
He grabbed Bautista and pulled him off. Okay?
That would have been a fun conversation to listen to. You don't need to be in here. Let's just stay over here. No, Adrian Beltray. If you've watched, I've watched Adrian Beltray from the time he was at Vero Beach in A-ball when he was the Florida State Player of the Year to my years with the Dodgers where I worked with him and everything like that, mature into one of the most professional. I mean, I watch with Andrus when he does stupid things and watching Beltray get on him and the facial expressions. I mean, Adrian Beltray right there sat there and decided his friend Bautista was not going to get in any further trouble, and he grabbed him. And once he pulled him away, I'm like, okay, he can let go now. He never let go until one of the Blue Jays coaches came, and he almost handed him to the Blue Jays coach.
Well, I think that was a wise thing. But, the thing is I agree with the skipper who said it was a gutless thing to wait to the last at-bat to hit him. I mean, if you're going to hit him, you hit him the first at-bat in the first game, and you don't go for the ribs. You go for the buttocks, you hit him in the lower backside.
And then he drops the bat and he runs the first and it's over.
And everybody's over. But the fact that you waited.
And that cloud hangs over for the whole series.
And then you drill him, come on now. And you bring a kid up, and the kid has just been signed that hits him. Is just up from AAA.
Who has nothing to do with what happened.
And is going back down the next day, so you can't suspend him. Yeah, I mean, you can't say it wasn't a calculated move. And so, I think Beltray was right. I hate the fact that you can no longer slide in there, but we talked about that change in the neighborhood play. If the neighborhood play is in play, if that replay is not available, he's on the bag, he's out of the bag, the throw's gone, no one even gets close. But the fact that you have to now stay on the bag until you get the ball allowed him to be in that spot as a second baseman. And that's my concern with that rule, because you don't allow second basemen to protect themselves because they have to stay on the bag until they catch the ball.
Yeah, I mean, I think you take away that element of baseball, aggressiveness, that's been there since, Ty Cobb was an aggressive baseball. Apparently, I wasn't there to see it. I know I look that old, but I'm just not. But, I mean, eventually it's going to be just a generic game. I think you have to allow aggressiveness to be in the game. Also, hurt feelings. I think we're so sensitive, and we make sure everything's right. Dude, he slid into the base. It didn't look like he was going for the guy.
He slid over the base. He waited until he got to the base.
He slid past the back. It was going to be a double play either way.
Right.
He was going to be out either way.
He was supposed to take the guy out, aren't you?
But then Oduro had the right thing to do. He came down, threw the ball, made him get out of the way a little bit, and saved himself. You protect yourself as a middle infielder with the ball because you're going to throw it, and nobody's going to come run. They're going to duck and going to get him off whack. So, and then Oduro got up, and he got up, and it was very odorous, at that moment because they're in each other's face, and you're like, oh, something's going to go down. Odorous, yeah. And then I did that on purpose, and then he took the swing and decked him, and that swing, I mean, that dude, if he doesn't pan out as a second baseman, he's got a future in boxing.
He does.
I think he's taking some lessons.
Triple G would like that.
Because it was a nice punch, but it had no. He got back up.
Well, he stabbed him.
if it. What?
He stunned him. Bautista's bigger than him. He's a short dude.
Yeah. Well, hey, we've talked about managers. We've talked about a little bit of offense. We're going to be back to talk about 20 strikeouts by Scherzer, the week that Clayton Kershaw had, Jose Fernandez, just a lot of pitching and different things going on, and maybe a little bit of college baseball that I want to bounce some things off you that we've talked about in the past. So thanks so much for the first part. You do the little thing right here.
Oh,
I'll point to us.
Find us on Facebook. Send us an email. And remember, go out and play ball this week and watch some baseball on TV.